Request has been videos on how we ended up getting Teddy, what made us get a miniature Shetland, and how we then went on and trained him to be such a good boy. We're going to use Podge as a bit of an example because obviously Podge is only 8 months old at the moment, so we're just going through the training process. So it's quite a good time to show how we train them from their very first days with us. And obviously miniature Shetlands are known for being particularly naughty and spirited, so hopefully we'll get rid of a few of those myths and you'll see that actually with the right training they are very friendly little people. Thank you so much to everyone that watched our last video. The feedback was amazing, and if you like these videos please make sure you subscribe. So the next few clips are going to be all about Teddy's first few days with us, from the moment we went to the Pinglewood stud and chose him to his first moments at home. So we thought you'd find this quite interesting because obviously everyone knows Teddy now, but maybe when he was a bit smaller and had less followers you might not know his full story. So we thought it would be fun to share some flashbacks of what made us buy him, the stud that we got him from, in case any of you guys are looking for Shetland ponies, and also how we then went on and trained him. We first got Teddy really as a companion for my event horses. Having a little friend for the young ones to travel with is always really useful, so that was initially why we got Teddy, and it's sort of become so much more than we ever thought it would be. We never really dreamed of even making an Instagram page for him, so it sort of came as a bit of a shock when he became so popular. You'll see the very first photo is his advert, which is what I saw and obviously instantly fell in love with him from, and the very first photo of us unloading him from the lorry. We were so excited to get him. It was literally a childhood dream. When we were little we just wished that we had a pony as cute and fluffy and with such good hair as Ted. Teddy's actually really sweet natured, and obviously we spent a lot of time training him, and hopefully with some of the tips from this video you might be better equipped yourselves for training your own miniature Shetland.
Yesterday we were talking about the most popular dogs on the social media site Instagram. That's because Crufts is recognising online canine celebrities this year.
We've got lots of emails from you with pictures of your dogs. Thank you for those. But we did also get one with a difference, and we thought we should show you it.
Yes, this is Teddy, Shetland pony, as you can see, who has more followers on social media than some of the dogs we featured. His own Anna scoring says he's 8 months old, just 24 inches tall.
He's already in training, though, to become a therapy pony, and when he's older, his job will be to visit people in hospitals and hospices. What a cutie.
You can see why people would want to look at pictures of a cute little 24-inch tall Shetland pony.
Absolutely, and why they want to meet him, too.
This is Podge. He is an 8-month-old miniature Shetland foal. We have had him for about a month and a half now. We bought him from a dealer, and we're not really sure of his life before he came to us, but he was very nervous and terrified of his own shadow and just about everything really. He actually belongs to my grandpa, but because of coronavirus and isolation and not being able to leave our houses, and grandpa being 81 years old, he obviously hasn't been able to be delivered to grandpa yet, so we've been looking after him instead, which has actually been really nice for Teddy. He's really enjoyed having a friend, and also really good for Podge because he's sort of learnt from Teddy as he's gone along. Yeah, as I said, he started off really, really nervous, and Teddy's just so brave with absolutely everything that it's really helped him come out of his shell a bit. We thought that it would be quite a good moment to sort of show how we're training him and how we approached training Teddy, because this was the sort of questions that I was wanting to ask but couldn't find any videos when I bought Teddy, so we sort of had to make it up as we went along and start from scratch. We're really lucky we picked two that don't have attitude, but that is partly because we spend a lot of time with the training and getting them used to different things. You'll see Podge is really chilled in my company now, but when we first got him, he literally was rearing over backwards almost and sort of trembling and falling over when you went to touch him, and you definitely couldn't get near him without him being on the end of a lead rope. So he's really come on a lot, and we spent a lot of time sort of desensitizing him and getting him used to various different things. Podge is so tiny. I think he's actually even smaller than Teddy when we first got him, and he's 3 months older. The good thing about Shetlands is they're quite manoeuvrable, so when they're foals you sort of teach them to lead by having one hand on their back end. So when Teddy was little, he was really quite stubborn, and we had to do a lot of this. But luckily, because Podge is quite a nervous character, he's sort of taken to leading quite a lot better than Teddy did, because he naturally sort of wants to please, because he's so terrified of everything, or at least he used to be. He's now quite chilled. So another thing about their training is it's really important to train them as individuals. We got Teddy sort of as an individual Shetland. He was our only Shetland, even though we had other horses, and we've always trained him by himself. I think sometimes people buy Shetlands in pairs, and it's really easy if they're in pairs for them to sort of rely on each other rather than rely on the human. And Teddy, when we got him, he very much relied on the humans, and he followed me around like a dog rather than following his other Shetland pal around like a dog. So it's a bit different now, because when we got Podge, we obviously already had Teddy, but we try to separate them as much as we can. So for example, today, even though it's pouring down, I feel a bit bad, Teddy's out in the field, Podge is in the stable, so we can work on Podge and give him some one-to-one time. We often take the ponies out on individual walks, because the worst thing really is two ponies that are completely inseparable and are constantly neighing to each other if you're at an event and want to separate them. So with Podge, it's just been getting him used to sort of being stroked, loved, cuddled.
Yes, it was lightning. It's right overhead as well.
Oh my god, that's so loud. Good boy, Podge. You've probably not heard lightning before, have you? Was that scary, or was that alright? You don't know what's going on, do you? He's come on a huge amount now, because he'll let you walk up to him, stroke him, you can take him on walks. Now he's absolutely perfect, and I think Teddy's taught him really well. When we got Teddy, Teddy was about 5 months old, so he was about 3 months younger than Podge, but he was a little bit more, well actually a lot more confident, and he wasn't really nervous at all. So we just had to sort of treat Teddy like a normal youngster, but where Podge is pretty nervous, it's taken a little bit more to help him to come out of his shell. He's now been with Teddy swimming in the river. He has been introduced to Rusty. Actually, funnily enough, he was better with animals and dogs than he was with humans. He was really quite scared of humans. His tummy fur was really clogged up with poo and matted and all horrible. And every time I touched his tummy to brush it, he would sort of kick out at me. Not because he was being nasty, just because he was absolutely terrified and sort of shaking. So we've just really slowly and gently started grooming him, getting him used to it really gently, and then building up the length of time that we've been doing it for. And now he actually really enjoys being groomed, probably even more than Teddy. After sort of getting him used to being groomed, he was so matted on his tummy with poo and all sorts of horrible things. His fur was all gross underneath him, and we definitely needed to bath him. So once we sort of got to a point where we knew he wasn't going to absolutely freak out bathing him, we bathed him with some anti-itch shampoo, which has really helped, and we got out all of those horrible mats. And he was actually, it was funny, we thought he'd be really terrified of being bathed, but he was sort of thankful that we were bathing him, which was really nice. So yeah, he really appreciated that. We make sure we take the ponies on loads and loads of walks, so they actually go out on walks with the dogs every single day, and this just gets them used to people and gets them used to different sights. Obviously they're not really going to get used to a huge amount of things being in isolation because we can't get near to any new people, so he's literally just socialised with us, our family, and that's it. But it's good enough, and every new thing, like you see over there, there's a bandage on the floor, everything that you can get them used to, like draping the bandage over him so he's not jumpy with it, is a good thing. And he's really, you can see he's so much better. He now come up to me and I can stroke him. With Teddy, everyone always says sort of, why is he so well behaved? And it's because we've got him used to so many different situations from day one. So for example, when we first got Teddy, we used to just walk him everywhere. We used to take him down the high street if we were going into town. We used to take him along the towpath. We used to box him up with the big event horses and take him to different places training with us, and just get him used to loads and loads of different situations. Actually, when Teddy was a foal, the only thing that he was really scared of when we first started taking him out was clapping, and we got him used to that by playing a YouTube video of clapping in his stable. One of the first things you have to do with little foals is you have to get them used to being handled in a way that they can sort of get their feet trimmed. So Teddy gets his feet trimmed every 6 weeks. He has a short walk down a private road to get to his field, so this actually helps quite a bit with sort of sanding down his feet so that they don't actually grow that much each time he comes to be trimmed. But it's really important that they get used to having their feet trimmed. So in order to be able to trim them, you obviously need to be able to pick them up. From day one with Podge, we were sort of getting him to pick up his feet, so he's now really confident with picking up his feet. When Teddy was a little baby, he actually, the first time he had the farrier, who is the guy that does their feet, picked his foot up and he just fell over flat on his side because he so wasn't used to balancing. So yeah, it's really important to get them used to that. My farrier always says, never ask me to put shoes on your Shetlands, because he'd have to make the tiniest metal shoes you've ever seen and it would just be ridiculous. But yeah, he was actually really good to have his feet done, and they need to be able to, when they rasp off their feet, they need to be able to lift their foot out the front like that. So we needed to get Podge sort of used to that kind of thing. Back feet are always a bit harder as well, because horses are obviously flight animals, so they feel, I think, when you've got their back feet that they've sort of got no defence. So we had to get Podge really used to picking up his back feet too, and so now he's really confident doing that. And yeah, he's just really had a lot of love and fuss, and he now is firmly part of the family. And I know that my grandpa can't wait to have him at his farm. He has a really lovely, amazing 100-acre farm that we take Teddy to on holidays, and Molly and I actually spent a lot of our childhood there, so he's going to have the most amazing life. So it's quite funny, Rusty actually thinks he's a pony and will stand in the field and graze next to Podge, and he'll copy Podge eating the grass and he'll eat the grass too. It's absolutely hilarious. I think if you bring a dog up with ponies, they just sort of associate with as being a pony. Looks like we've doped them. No, they're literally just chilled all the time. Yeah. Podge's snoring. We have this affection on ponies, they just turn into dogs. Okay, so she's picking up his leg, she's tapping him on the shoulder. Yeah. Now scratchy scratchy. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, he's covered. Covered. Yeah. God, I'm so impressed. So that's how we get him to lie down for photos. When we want him to be lying down and he boy. And then sometimes, I bet you won't do this now, but sometimes he then lies on your lap like this. He is just not a pony, is he? He's like a dog. He like shuts his eyes and snores. He properly loves this. So yeah, when he was a foal, he just used to like come into the stable and we'd sit down and he used to just sit down on your lap. So we sort of linked it with a command.
Kind of hasn't really realised that he's grown at all
No.
since he was like 4 months
He
old.
still thinks he's a dog size. Ta-da! Done. Oh my gosh, look at this. He actually looks like he's lost weight, which is good. Before he lost his winter coat, he was looking kind of chubby, but it's getting a bit more definition. So cute. Jawline definition. We're going to have a competition who can put the hoodie on Teddy the fastest. Not holding out very high hopes for me because I've never done this before. This is basically just an opportunity for Alice to show off. And also everybody has said, how do we get it on him? Yes, so this is going to be me looking like a TIT trying to do this and failing. Here we go. Okay, she's found the head. I'm quite used to this process. Maybe bring some of the forelock forward. He looks a bit like Elvis. And it's on. I'm going to quickly and easily show you how to put it on a Shetland pony. Because what else would you be doing with a triple XL hoodie? I'll show you the branding too.
Branding.
These are Teddy's own.
These are Teddy's own that he made himself. This is his favourite colour, blue. Okay. Right, so first you kind of just like crumple it up like so. Place it over the muzzle and like work it up his head. Right, now that's stage 1 complete. Have to go like that with the head. And then this.
Don't pull it back, you'll regret it.
Oh, leg number 1. Boy.
Oh, we've got the first leg.
Okay, the leg is gliding down the hole.
Any minute now we'll see the trotter
Said no one ever.
emerging. There it is. A little bit slow.